Hello YouTube, it is a late one today. I have spent a rather large amount of hours in the lab today, so I am just now getting to this, and I'm actually filming these as I go for the most part, which is why this one's so late. I just got home. And yes, it's that late. I want to announce today's theme, and today's, if you haven't already been checking, is the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. And this was surprisingly hard for me. I think mainly because of my background and what I do in drug discovery is that I do a lot of biochemistry and chemistry related things, which means I don't read a lot in that topic because I have to for work. And that sucks the fun out of it. I have read several books though, and some of these have stuck with me longer than others. Some are more recent reads. I have found it a little bit hard when doing this list, which is also sort of a disappointment in that some of these books are extremely hard to find. The ones that I would recommend, one would be the biography of Gertie Corey and her husband, and I've been sort of searching for that for a little while, and it has proven to be elusive. It had, I believe, one copy on Amazon, and it was way more than I'm going to pay for a book, and my library doesn't have any copies. So on that note, we're going to start this video with a little game before we get into the recommendations, and then I'm going to introduce why I picked the first book that I did. I want to ask a question, and that question is to name, if you can, a female scientist that is known to you, like a household name that you know that is a female scientist. I can wait. Was it Marie Curie? No? Okay, Rosalind Franklin. You can't say Gertie Corey. So there is something called the Marie Curie effect, and that was one of the books that I read that sort of spurred this reading trend, and that is because there are only 4 female winners of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Yeah, 4. And 2 of them are Curies. So because of that, my first recommendation is a book that I found recently that I really enjoyed. This is extremely readable. It does deal with the science that each of the women involved partook on and why they're famous and why they won the Nobel Prize. And that is Nobel Prize, Women in Science. Super easy. My library had several copies, so you should be able to obtain one pretty easily. It's not that thick, but it is really good. It's super readable. There's a lot of pictures of the women and their labs and basically of their life. So you get to know, I think, a little bit more about them as people and not just as scientists, which I found very interesting. There's also little bits of experiments so that you can I mean, honestly, you can't recreate most of these, but this one is an easy one for Marie Curie, speaking of her. So I'm going to read just a little bit from the back so you can get an idea if you would be interested. And this is a little out of date because this was, I believe, the 1998 edition, or it was like in the early 2000s, so I don't know how many additional women have won the Nobel since then, but it says since 1901 there have been almost 500 recipients of the Nobel Prize in the Sciences. Only 10 of them, approximately 2%, have been women. And then it goes through a analysis of their lives and some of the struggles and their research, and overall, I mean, this was a really good book. If you want to be introduced to a lot of different science topics and read more about chemistry, this is a great book to pick up. My next recommendation is one that I read several years ago, and it was actually a gift from my graduate advisor. She knew that I was interested in chemistry, biochemistry, and we were a biochemistry lab. So she actually gifted this to me, and I kept it for a very long time, and then I re-gifted it to another student, so I no longer have it. But it is Aspirin, The Remarkable Story of a Wonder Drug. This was a great, short, very readable, sort of a little slow in spots, but the information was really cool because it is basically the history of chemistry. And it focuses around Bayer, the corporation that invented aspirin, their also accidental discovery of heroin, and what it was like to be a chemist before chemistry was actually a profession. So it's the evolution of the profession and the evolution of a little bit of medicine. So it was I don't know, it was a good personal account. There's a lot of sort of excerpts from lives of chemists that were involved in these different time points, and it's also a little snippet of changes in marketing and a lot of other concepts related to science and related to pharmaceuticals and related to chemistry, but not necessarily directly scientifically based. So it was fun, it was short, it was really cool, and you'd be shocked at the number of times that something related to this book has come up in conversation over the last 10 years. So that's one of the reasons that I felt that I needed to recommend this book, because I've recommended it several times and just random facts from it come up in conversation because everybody knows aspirin. My last recommendation is on my TBR, and this is one that I am excited to get to. It is one of the more popular books that I found in and related to chemistry. The last one that I chose was The Disappearing Spoon and Other True Tales of Madness, Love, and the History of the World from the Periodic Table of Elements. And this is exactly what it sounds like. I've seen this more on Goodreads than I have on BookTube. I don't think I've seen any BookTubers recommend it, but I could have overlooked that. So this has pretty high ratings. From some of the people that I follow on Goodreads, they've really enjoyed it. It's supposed to be a unique take on the periodic table, so it's not straight up science. It's more of an exploration of the world through the different elements, and I think that's a really cool concept. So this is on my TBR. I know this is late, and tomorrow's gonna be a rough day in lab too, so I hope that it won't be a late video, but it likely will be. And I also hope that you'll continue in the series with me so that we move on through the Nobel Prizes and on with the book recommendations. There are no more science-based book recommendations after this one. All the others are other things that we'll get to then. I hope that you have enjoyed this and that you got something out of it, and I will see you soon tomorrow. Bye.